Nancy Muñoz is a visionary. As a visionary, she was able to recognize Tisziji immediately. Without the least hesitation or doubt, she dedicated herself to the service of all beings by helping to establish the Illumination Society, which is committed to publishing and disseminating the educational works of Tisziji Muñoz. Nancy is also the co-producer of all Anami music productions, and is wholeheartedly committed to creating a worldwide market for Anami music productions.
We're joined now by Mrs. Nancy Muñoz. Nancy, thank you for joining us. Please tell us, who is Tisziji Muñoz?
Who hears this? Phew.
Phew. What can you tell us about Tisziji?
He is a loving being. He is a selfless teacher. He is a master musician. He is all things to many people, and nothing to even more people. He is one of the few precious, rare, enlightened geniuses that this planet has been privileged enough to have. And he's someone we're all extraordinarily privileged to have been with for however long a period of time.
What can you tell us about Tisziji specifically as a spirit guide?
He is a spirit guide, both on the outer and the inner. One of the things that I've found extraordinary relative to his work, and he is always working, is the absolutely unique method and way in which he guides. Unique in the sense that it's particular to each individual, extraordinarily sensitive and tailored to each individual, spontaneous, not preconceived, never false, always with great love, humor, detachment. That's been a major element to his guidance and his guidance function, along with his selfless love.
You were introduced to Tisziji, the musician. What can you tell us about Tisziji as a player? Is Tisziji a great musician in your estimation? Or does that...
That's an understatement, if I ever heard one.
Fair enough. What is it about Tisziji as a player specifically that has meant the most to you?
His freedom. He is a master musician in the sense that he doesn't think. As Tisziji says, he doesn't stink. And he's gifted in ways that most people will never even realize. He doesn't practice. He doesn't usually have preconceived notions of what he's going to play. Certainly isn't limited by such. And the music consistently pours from him, in the sense that the sound passes through him, and the tiny fraction of what people will ever hear of his playing is just that, a tiny, minuscule fraction of what comes through him all the time. I can't tell you how many extraordinarily exquisite melodies have gone unrecorded, or once they were recorded have been erased, have been discarded by Tisziji. Every musician that he's played with who has any element of freedom, mastery over their instrument, is liberated in one way or another by playing with Tisziji. Most of these players have been classically trained, and they're still amazed by Tiszyi's ability. And it's all the more amazing to them that he is not classically trained and is a self-taught musician. His self-mastery, his freedom, his humor, and his detachment, similar to the detachment he exhibits in his spirit teaching function, is all what I find extraordinary. Plus his ability to traverse the many worlds that we often don't get to travel through. He allows us to take and make those journeys, sometimes along with him, usually in our own time and space, beyond time and space, and he gives that gift to everyone who is willing to lend themselves to it.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Tisziji, the Time Master. Could you recount for us your experience with Tisziji as the astrologer, or as he titles himself, the Time Master?
Tiszyi's always mastered time, and has always been aware of, yet not bound to it. Most people won't have any clue as to what I mean by that. But if they ever get a chance to meet him and speak with him, Tisziji has an extraordinary ability to recognize, interpret, and teach the element of time to someone in their own life language, and then allow them to look beyond the boundaries of that. What I mean by that is, when he meets someone, he recognizes each individual's need, ability, and life time, communicates that to the individual, and then takes them beyond that so that they're not limited by that. And each individual is taken through that journey on a purely individual basis. It's just extraordinary how Tisziji can can meet such a diverse group of people and hone in on each individual and serve them accordingly, which I've seen him do thousands of times. Does that answer your question?
Certainly. Any final closing comments you'd like to make regarding Tisziji and the work that you've been able to share here with him?
I hope we've just begun. I hope people can benefit from the extraordinary gift that Tisziji is. He has sacrificed any self that may have exhibited itself as or through in terms of tendencies, desires, wishes. All of that over the years has been sublimated in the service of other people, whether it be his family, his students, strangers. It hasn't mattered. Tisziji, on a personal note, is the absolute best of me. He is my heartbeat and my heart. But more importantly, he is a world teacher who may or may not be recognized as such now or ever, but most importantly is constantly in the service of all beings, visible, invisible ways, and in invisible ways. And for that I'm most grateful.
Well, we are also grateful for your having taken the time to speak with us here. Thank you very much. We enjoyed this opportunity very much.
Thank you.